From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all. It's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all. Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
Hello.
Hello.
Everyone, we're all here together on a very mild morning.
Yes.
It's nice out. I'm in pants and a long sleeve rolled up.
No flannel.
No flannel today.
No, it's not a flannel.
It's just a little light long sleeve
It doesn't
kind
have
of weather.
the plaid. I don't know what you would call it.
I don't either. Tyler's in shorts.
I like that
Shirt and shorts.
We're starting with
Still.
fashion now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Yeah, we're so fashionable here
We're just
for the
letting
fall.
people know.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It is straight up fall in Middle Tennessee, y'all. Nashville is really
Colorful.
beautiful right now with fall color.
Yeah.
Really is. Our trees and our shrubs, all of it, really going off. We're kind of, in a weird spot when it comes to kind of the bloom cycle. I'll talk about that in a minute. We talked about that on the show. We can go into that now if we wish, or we can wait.
Well, just while we're talking about fall color, my Dawn Redwood is just starting to turn. And I'm so excited.
Favorite plants, one of my favorite botanical names to say
it.
Metasequoia, Glyptostroboides.
Oh,
Wow.
that is
Wow.
a fun name to say.
Bet you can't spell it.
I know I can't spell that. But do you remember how I got that tree, Austin?
I gave it to you, right?
You gave it to me, but you remember why?
I probably lost a bet.
You lost a bet. Yep.
We bet out here. We bet plants.
You challenged
It's what we
my
do.
sense of direction. And I said, I know exactly where I'm going. And you said, yeah, right, Caroline. There's no way you can find it. And I said, you want to bet on it? And I won.
Well,
But that
know
Dawn
what?
Redwood has what?
nothing. I was going to say you're welcome.
Thank you. I absolutely love that tree. And it has grown so much since I put it in the ground. I think I planted it in 2020.
Yeah.
So it really shot up this year.
It's
This
a-
year was like the year that it really latched and just went.
That's what they do. It's that first season slow, second season slow, third season jump, it seems. So very cool. I'm glad you have that tree because, like I said, what an amazing tree. It's a deciduous conifer, which is super rare. We've talked about this before, but it's very needle-like, and it goes that kind of bronzy orangish color in the fall, and then it drops. So interesting bark and branch structure, though. I think I've read that the biggest dawn redwood in our state, I believe, is right around 140 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, really? Where is it?
It's at the Ellington Ag Center in Nashville.
Oh,
I have seen it.
we should probably take a geo field trip.
We did. We did a video at the Peach Lady's place, and on the way home, Tyler took a jaunt over there, and we saw it together. You don't remember this?
We didn't do a video on it, though.
We didn't do a video.
I
but
do
we just
remember
saw
that.
it.
Yes, I remember that.
Uh-huh.
I had
Wow.
to take you over there.
Massive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Tyler, just so y'all know, Tyler's an extremely fast driver.
He's terrifying.
He scares me when he drives.
We all took a road trip once
Uh-huh.
together, and Tyler was driving his Prius, and
Just buzzing all over this town.
Austin and I kept looking at each other like, I don't know if we're going to be okay.
Aren't you, Tyler? Tell the people.
What?
What?
You guys
You're a little
have
speed
put me
demon.
on blast.
Oh.
I've driven in
It's
this
impressive.
city. I saw some stuff last night that would put me to shame. And I was honking at people.
Oh, don't honk at people, Tyler. Are you a honker?
This was a deserved honk,
Okay.
Austin. Somebody went around me on a single lane to merge into traffic.
How rude.
That is very rude.
And on the side where if somebody hit them, they would slam into me.
Okay. Well, that was a well-deserved honk.
They did.
It was very unsafe.
Oh.
No bueno.
Tyler, you are a safe driver. You're just very fast. Pedal to the metal, if you will,
Yep.
the whole way.
Y'all country folk need to get you some city.
We
Nah,
like country
man.
driving.
Yeah, I just.
What's
take
funny
it
is when I lived in the city, because I am from the city, I used to drive fast. Wow, I've never put that together.
Yeah. Then you move on out and you slow it on down.
slow
You
it
just
on
enjoy
down.
that ride.
Yeah.
I also
Enjoy
got
that fall color right now.
So many speeding tickets when I first moved to the country. So that also did it.
Can't be doing that.
Nope.
I'll get you out there.
And you don't want to be speeding this time of year because you're going to miss all the fall color.
Exactly.
Tyler.
That's right, Tyler.
Guys,
It's okay, Tyler.
how about y'all let off the gas
All right.
on this one, okay?
Hey, Tyler, with fall color in your yard, is your oak leaf lit up?
It's not the moneyest it could be, but it is red and green.
Okay.
Like it's not all
It's
red.
Christmas colored.
It's
Yeah.
halvesies.
The blooms are still on there. I left them on from who knows when, like July, June. It bloomed kind of early.
That's the earliest one typically to bloom of the hydrangeas anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
News to me.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they just look kind of crusty, but not in a bad way. And then with
I know what
color
you're
on
saying.
them.
That's
Yes.
kind of what mine look like right now.
Uh-huh.
And they're starting to red from the base of the plant.
That's how oak leaf is. It always reddens up at the bottom, and then it kind of works its way up. And if you get good enough weather, you'll get that full color change all the way up through the plant before it goes kind of crispy on you. Like I can tell what you're talking about a little bit, Tyler, which they do. They'll show some crisping up with the fall color.
It's a difficult spot where I have them planted. They're in western sun. So after about 11 a.m., they just start getting blasted. But my Vitex are growing in size exponentially. So as the years go on, they'll get less of that intense afternoon heat.
Nice. Which is helpful with the oak leaves.
Yes. I've already noticed, really haven't had to water them since it was real bad in like July, August, and they haven't wilted at all.
Nice.
That
That
so
means
even
it's-
with all the sun, they're
That means it's nice and latched into the earth, finding its own water, seeking it itself without help from us. But it's good that you don't water unless it's really necessary, Like you want that plant to go through periods of stress a little bit sometimes to kind of seek their own. I feel like, you don't want to baby your plant all the time. There was a story I had from a landscaper friend of mine where there was this guy that had this massive stand of camellias. Was it camellias? Yeah. Yeah, it was camellias, but it was all
bro.
Yeah, totally.
But
I know it was.
It was all irrigated, and it had been for like a long time, like a decade at least. And my buddy would go over there, he'd kind of clean them up, keep them in check or whatever. But like I said, it had been irrigated the whole time. So at one point, this customer decided he didn't want his camellias anymore. He was tired of them, wanted to get rid of them. So when the landscaper went to dig them up, he said all he had to do was put like a half shovel into the earth. And that's where the roots stopped. It was a mat of roots on top of the surface, but they did not go down and seek their own water at all. So without that irrigation system, if that would have went down for some reason in the summer, those camellias would have probably died even after probably 10 years of growing, because you babied them their whole life and their roots just stayed on the surface to seek that water, not to go down and find their own. So
That's crazy.
I mean, I think irrigation systems can be necessary sometimes, but don't baby them. I mean, I don't have irrigation
I don't have
at all.
irrigation.
Never have to water hardly because I let them go through that stress period where they, seek their own water. That's just my theory anyway.
I think it's a solid theory.
It makes sense to me.
Pretty much how I roll. I water stuff when I plant it. If I plant stuff in the spring or summer, I definitely water it more. But then I usually, after that season, don't water it again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Tyler, give us an update on your greenish, reddish tomatoes.
Did you make fried green tomatoes for everybody?
No, I fried up some chicken, some thin sliced chicken, and I made. Here we go, ketchup y pepe.
Oh no!
Oh, Tyler.
Or maybe it's cacio y pepe. I don't know. Anyway,
I love that you learned how to pronounce that word.
I learned it from the recipe.
What
blog
is it? Say
writer,
it one more time.
Cacio y pepe.
Oh, man, you say it so good. Caroline's just laughing over here.
No, I crack her up every time I do it.
All right, well, what is it?
But that is, it means cheese and pepper.
Okay.
And you take that and saute some bucatini noodles in it, and then we decided to roast some food, some vegetables, and the tomatoes came up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw some in there because I have this magazine, and it's like a Better Homes and Gardens focused special issue just on roasting. It's fabulous. I think it's called Roasted.
Fitting.
Because, and I did butternut squash for a long time and potatoes and stuff, but in one of the recipes they did cherry tomatoes, and I know when you roast cherry tomatoes, they just get really juicy and sweet.
Oh, they're fantastic.
So I was like, I could probably do the same with celebrity, the ones that I've got that are blushing, and I did it, and man, wow.
Fire roasted tomatoes. God,
That sounds
good.
great.
450 degrees for, I think I did 13 minutes in between, so 13 minutes flip. And I don't think maybe you don't have to really do that with the tomatoes because they'll just keep on going. And, a little caramelization happened.
Oh, man.
Tyler.
Sugars.
You're getting us hungry in here.
For real.
Well, it was awesome. It just brings out a totally different set of flavors in the tomato.
Yeah.
When you eat a tomato raw, like on a sandwich or something, that's a different thing.
Oh, definitely.
And you could totally enjoy that. But if you haven't had roasted tomatoes your entire life,
It's about time to start.
it's a whole other world.
Wow. Did you bring some for us to try?
No.
He ate all of it.
Oh, Tyler.
No, we still have some in the bowl.
Now, what was the name of what you used again?
No, I don't know if I'm not going to fall for this.
He's not falling.
I don't remember, though. And I bet the listeners want to know. Tyler?
Tyler's not available right now. Please try
You
again.
did you got to voicemail.
Well, Tyler, that sounds amazing.
It really does.
I'm proud of you.
Uh-huh. You love food so much, but you also make delicious food. So good for you. Great growing tomatoes.
But you also.
We also still have a lot of green tomatoes on our vines here, so we can still make the green tomato thing happen. We'll
Yes,
see.
we can.
We'll see where that goes.
I have not looked at my veggie garden in probably a week. I've been so busy.
I got a lot of butternut squash just laying out there, laying about like
Yeah, the
like an old
squash
pumpkin
bugs
patch.
got to mine, so I only got 2.
Well, I'm not saying I've got beautiful leaves or anything. Like, those are pretty much done. It's kind of like a pumpkin patch, Once you go out there to pick them, it's like,
Yeah.
you ain't got pretty leaves. It looks rough. There's insects in there. The leaves are crispy. It's horrible. But the pumpkins look great.
How did you even get fruit? Because the squash bugs ruin it before I even get fruit.
I plant a lot of different melons. So it's like if they congregate on one, I'm kind of like, you know what? Y'all just have that one. Stay
that's a good
around
way to do
this
it.
plant. You can be on it. Just take it. I don't really care. And I just overplant, honestly. I mean, I just plant a whole lot. Well, when it comes to melons, I just feel like you can really put them close together and they all just vine around each other and just do what they do. And then, like I said, this time of year, I just see this barren wasteland of watermelons and butternut squash with no leaves around it, tucked in around wheat straw, which is kind of what I put around the melons to help with weeds a little. So that's what my garden bed's looking right now.
That sounds great.
You do surprise fruit. That's kind of the way you do it.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of.
Surprises even the bugs that it's growing in there.
Exactly, yeah. It's a very Halloween. It's very spooky.
Yes, it
It's a
sounds like a
spooky
very
scene.
fall, spooky look. Like
Yes.
there's a
It is.
horror movie that's about to take place.
Yep.
How many butternut squash would you say you have?
There's probably about 5 or 6 laying out there right now.
Nice.
Yeah, you want one?
I got 2. I will take one. I
I'll
love
bring
butternut
one.
squash.
I can't stand it. I grow it simply for my wife. I do not eat butternut squash. Not my name. Not my thing. But I'll grow it.
Will you eat
Easiest
it
pie to
in
grow.
stuff?
Nah, man.
Oh my gosh.
A good friend of mine
Absolutely not.
made butternut squash.
Butternut
soup.
squash.
Stop.
You better not.
You better
Better not
make
do
fun
that.
of me, you jerks. Butternut squash soup. Like literally
Yes.
roasted the
Yuck.
squash
Uh-huh. It's so good. I make that.
with like onions and different other and then finely pureed it.
No.
And, dude, come on.
Nope,
it was
never.
really good.
Just the color
I'm going to
of
trick
that.
you into eating
No, you're
butternut
not.
squash, and you're going to love it.
No, just the color. I can see the color right now, and I'm like, I'm not eating that.
We'll put on some blue sunglasses or something and let it
Oh, you mean like these atop of my head?
On top of
never
his
put
head.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin always has his sunglasses on top of his hat. If you're listening and you have not seen us before, it's great.
That's what I do, man.
I know that's
where they're
you.
at, okay?
That's you. I'm just describing
Always
you right
have
now.
the sunnies if
you
I
were
need 'em.
describing Tyler in his shorts, so I thought we would give a description of you, so
Okay.
people know what you look like or one physical characteristic of you.
Well, there it is.
My shorts are blue and my shirt is gray.
Tyler-
Austin's shirt is blue and his pants are gray.
It's amazing.
we
you guys look
coordinated
like a
that.
storm coming in.
Let's get back on track a
Yeah.
little.
Let's talk about plants.
Let's speak about some colors out there, and one specifically that I am a fan, just super fan of, and that's our native sassafras trees. Y'all,
yeah.
Yeah.
that fall color. If you don't know a sassafras tree, all there, like they've got leaves like mittens sometimes. Sometimes they don't look like mittens. They have, different leaf shapes all on the same tree, which I find very interesting. And their fall color right now is intense. Like intense. It's like orangey red and like a color you can't describe. It's magic.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice a sassafras tree the whole growing season. Nobody even thinks about them.
And then all of a sudden, bam.
When they light up,
There
there's
it is.
nothing like it. You know what's funny about sassafras tree too that I've noticed is like old ones, they don't get like really much taller once they get to a certain age. It seems it's like they just look older. Like their bark, their mane.
Thickened
It's a
yeah.
haunting tree to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yes.
You're very spooky today.
It's a Halloween.
It is.
A week before Halloween thing. Yeah.
This is kind of our Halloween broadcast.
A little bit. But I'm telling you, I passed a really nice sassafras tree driving home, and it's like it's been the same size for years, but the trunk like swells a little bit bigger every year, but the stems just get more haunting year after year.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
There it is, Tyler. How'd you get that so fast? I don't know how you do these things. Just how'd you come up with that?
I don't know. There's just
You've got
weird,
a button for everything.
there's a weird laugh in here.
Someone's in
We've
the
got
green room
company.
with us. Oh.
Another good one is just the native sweet gum tree.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because I got something to talk about with sweet gum too. What would you say? I'm going to ask both of y'all, okay? What would y'all say fall color on sweet gum is?
Well, for this one, I mean, for slender silhouette, it's more like yellow, right? Mm-hmm. But the native sweet gum that I'm seeing that's just like out there is like a dusky purple, red, like it's incredible. It's really deep.
Yeah.
It's what would you say, Caroline?
Yes. I've got it all in my woods.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Funny thing is that yes, that does occur with sweet gums, but not always.
Really?
No. Every sweet gum is different, and their fall color is different. It's insane. Just like you were saying, Tyler, like the purple of sweet gum certainly happens, that purpley red, almost burgundy kind of feeling. Plenty of them go yellow. Plenty of them have orange in there. Plenty of them have more red than purple. It's like the amount of variability with sweet gum is insane to me, more so than any other tree. I mean, you see a sugar maple, and you've got greens working to yellow, working to orange, like almost every year. Sweet gum, It's not like that. The variation is huge. It's incredible.
I need to walk back on my property where I have a grove of them.
And
that's
the word.
Look up.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I mean, there is a bit of a kaleidoscope in some of them.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Even ones on our lot that we sell here. Like there could be two right next to each other, and they look totally different.
I wish fall would last longer.
Me too, especially here in the mid-state.
Just give us like another week and a half, 2 weeks.
I think we're getting it, though. I mean, I don't see any like real nasty weather coming up soon. We've had cool nights and warm days, which is like, for us, really nice for fall color.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like some years
nice
fall they all turn brown.
Oh, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You know, I speak about my ginkgo. I've talked to y'all about this. My little dwarf ginkgo that I have up on a stand.
Oh, you were so mad about it last year.
I know, because we had a frost or freeze or whatever that happened before we really got fall color coming in, and it just turned my ginkgos to mush. So this year, though, I'm starting to see some color change on the interior of the plant, and I'm very, very excited to hopefully this first year this will be the first year that I get that excellent yellow fall color that is probably rivals any other yellow color in nature.
There
if you ask me.
is a rest stop off of, I can't remember which interstate, but it's when I travel north, when I go to Boston, that has so many huge mature ginkgo trees all around the parking lot. And I go there once a year around September, and the ginkgos are usually changing up there.
Would that be like 81?
Incredible.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Probably.
Yeah, going through Virginia.
I've sent you guys pictures there, and like I think people will go to that rest stop to take photos, because I was trying to get a picture of one, and there was literally a line of people to take their picture in front of a tree.
Oh, yeah.
At a rest area.
Well, there's almost no cooler tree out there. I mean, honestly, that's also one of my favorites, along with Dawn Redwood. Ginkgo is technically a conifer as well, which is extremely weird. It's got its own page in the textbook with its leaf shape. It's the only
conifer?
plant. Yes, technically.
Wow.
It's extremely old. Very, very old plant. Lived through ice ages like crazy.
I don't have one.
It's the Ginkgo biloba. Biloba is the sole species in the whole genus. That is extremely rare, y'all. Like, that hardly ever occurs. So one species on the planet that we know of, Ginkgo biloba. I literally just had a guest ask me. He had a ginkgo on his cart, and he's like, "Hey, man, you think this is a good, like I'm going to put this in my backyard, just kind of in an open area?" He's like, "You think that's a good idea?" I'm like, "I think a ginkgo is a good idea for any scenario, any of them. So if you're not growing ginkgo, you should be, if you ask me."
Y'all buy me a ginkgo. When
No.
we leave here.
They're expensive, man.
Fine.
They grow slow.
You know what else is expensive?
Give me a small one.
Time.
You're right.
Time is
We've let this
expensive.
go.
I guess it is time to get into the broadcast.
It was a good one. It was very fall related.
Yes, it was.
Very
Talked
much.
a lot about when to plant stuff, pruning, all the fun things rolled into one. We were all 5 here, so the 3 of us with Josh Carey, David Bates. So let's get into it.
Fall right in.
Mind before we get into the questions?
Well, I'm doing great. It was a wonderful day.
Wonderful.
I've got nothing but fall color on my brain. Okay?
It is gorgeous right now.
Around town is, I told Tyler yesterday, it is peak week. I think this week is the week of peak fall color.
I think you're right.
I mean, I was like.
And it's not weak.
What?
It's peak week, not week.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep.
It took me a second.
Okay, I get it.
It
I
took
get it
you
now,
longer,
yes.
though.
It did. So what we're seeing is a lot of the trees and shrubs and all the things, they still have like a good amount of volume of leaves, and a lot of them are changing colors without dropping off. Okay, we're having that cool nights with warm days, so those leaves are kind of staying on, and the color is fabulous out there right now.
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a
not?
great
I mean,
fall.
y'all driving around. I've seen people. And my wife, my little brother. Yesterday, we were talking about fall color. Like even people that don't care about plants all that much are like seeing the fall color around town. And
The
it is
autumn
that-
blaze is in full blaze.
Oh, but-
That rainfall
Man.
that I referenced earlier was the difference maker. I mean, the cool nighttime temperatures are, of course, another big component of it. However, getting that moisture in the ground really saved our foliage and kept it from the desiccation from occurring and dropping off prematurely. So that's given us fall color that didn't look very promising 6 weeks ago, to be certain.
Yeah, what a great point. Like you said, 4 to 6 weeks ago, we were talking about the dogwoods and how they were just getting crispy and not looking good, showing fall color early, dropping early, all that stuff. And then, like David said, the rain came and it's like, okay, now they've decided that the dogwoods are gorgeous. Everybody thinks the dogwoods bloom in white in the spring, and that's great. They do. But this fall color this year of dogwoods is great. And there's so many other things around. The sugar maples, y'all. Working green to yellow to orange up top. Like, there's nothing better than that.
Sumac. This is your
Sumac is blazing.
this
Blazing.
year.
Hey, let's give a shout out to sassafras. My gosh.
Oh.
Our native sassafras around here, they are in full fall color. What a great plant. Whew.
It looks like fall in here.
Yep.
Just in time for spooky night. So that's what's on your brain.
That's what's on my brain.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, pretty much. Like, yeah, kind of. I'm
So,
you know.
are we dismissed then, or we got other stuff?
I don't know.
So let's go ahead and get into some questions.
Okay.
Are y'all ready for it?
People have them.
People have them. Yes, they do. Quite a few. All right. What's the best evergreen to use as a visual and road noise screen?
Well,
Wow.
there's some options for that. Y'all definitely know I'm a juniper fan because our native junipers are cedar trees that we call them. Not technically cedars, but they are what we call cedar trees are technically junipers. Y'all know I love those. Okay. They're native around here. They're dense.
Yes.
Evergreen, they were not affected by the 2 year ago freeze we had that was awful. And just, I mean, they didn't get affected at all.
Interstate 24. And there's nothing that's going to stop the sound of air brakes, folks. I mean, it just doesn't happen, or the boom boom going down the road.
Yeah.
So what you're hoping for is attenuation.
Yes.
You're really not going to eliminate it, but you certainly can reduce the impact from it.
Absolutely. But I like the cypresses and the junipers myself. I really do. I think, and if you put them in the staggered hedges, like David likes to say, I think they actually deflect the sound better than in a solid straight line.
And it also just
Interesting.
looks better.
Yeah.
I think, anytime you can avoid a straight line, I think it's nice. And then, incorporating, say, deciduous trees or whatever along the line.
Oh, I love that look.
Yeah, I mean, the deciduous flowering plants with evergreens around it is always a nice look as well, depending on your budget, I understand.
Just come on out.
Well, that's
you
the
could go
thing.
wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for this.
There are quite a few. All right. Well, you did mention arborvitae, so let's go ahead and get into an arborvitae question because we got a few. Should I be concerned about the insides of my arborvitaes turning brown? We get this all the time here.
Every single year. And this is the every single year annual shed of arborvitae, and that's what it does. And as long as it's doing it on the interior and not the exterior, then you're doing okay. Okay? We talk about, like, say, pine trees, if we didn't have pine trees to drop their needles this time of year, we wouldn't have pine straw.
That's right.
To
I
use
love
as
pine
mulch.
straw. I love using that.
Now that I think about it, why don't we use arborvitae as a mulch?
It
would be
seems like
cool.
it gets
If you had-
mushy.
If you had really small beds, something where you could use a very fine particulate type of, it would be nothing wrong with it. There's just not a huge supply of arborvitae needles like there are pine straw needles. So
Yeah.
it would be a lot more costly. But the whole thing of it is it occurs as a direct result of lack of light, and the plant needs the light on the outside. And when those needles on the interior part of the plant no longer are receiving a sufficient amount, the plant says, let's get rid of those. We're just wasting energy. We're going to put that towards new growth on the outside next year. So that's the way that works.
Yeah.
That's right. I know Ben Trest, one of our landscape specialists here at Bates, he likes to leaf blow them.
Ooh.
Yeah, he does. That's a good way to clean them up.
The deadness out of the center.
Yeah, that is a great way to clean them up. It's
fun
if
to
you have a
watch.
lot of that. Yeah.
Just
Instead of
don't
getting
try
your
to do
hands
it
in
when
there.
the foliage is wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Get
do it on
little
a
bit
dry
gross.
day.
So our second question, we have 5 fairly tall arborvitae that have a lot of brown spots. Will they come back?
Brown spots is a different scenario. I'm assuming I want to see it. I mean, I'd like to see why the brown spots are occurring. You know, this was a big bagworm season for arborvitae. We were no exception to that. We had a nasty infestation in the back where we have arborvitae planted as well. So I want to know if it's bagworms because that typically doesn't really come back all that much. You kind of have to prune that out and wait till next spring for new growth to flush around it.
Right.
So if you could send us a pic, I'd like to see it because that's a touch interesting.
It is a touch interesting. And if you want to email us.
But almost certainly it does involve the removal of that dead part in there because if it is truly completely defoliated in spots, it's not going to flush back out. So do a deep prune in there, take that whole limb out, the whole branch out. It'll
Waste it away, take it
go
away.
back in around it.
Yep.
Take it on out. But if you want to email us a photo, you can send it to gardeninginsideout@gmail.com and we can take a look at it. You can also send it to us over Facebook or Instagram DMs. So whatever works best for you, but we would love to see a photo of that issue. All right, how about this one? Is it too late to plant a crepe myrtle?
You know,
You have like a theory about planting crepe myrtles this time of year,
well, I
right?
kind of do. I mean, if any other, a lot of other plants, I would say, especially deciduous trees like a crepe myrtle or a deciduous shrub, depending on what size you buy it. I would say it's totally fine this time of year, but crepe myrtle is a little bit different. Okay, they can suffer from very cold winters and freezing damage and just cold weather damage in general. So for me, if any other plant, I would say go for it. But with crepe myrtle, I'd say, you know what? Why don't we just wait till the spring on this one? Let's plant it in the spring. Let's have a full season for roots to develop, and then let's go through that cold period instead of planting it now and having to go directly into a cold period to where we could see significant dieback.
And they're always available. I mean, so
we always have crepe myrtle.
We always have a ton.
You can't come out here and not find a crepe myrtle. I mean, we almost always have them. So
it could happen.
that's my theory on that.
But it probably won't.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I plant most stuff in the fall, so that's good to know about crepe myrtle.
Well, I know, me too. Like I said, but crepe myrtle is one of those things I think I'm going to wait on.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe one day I'll plant another one. All right, we did some shout outs from both Cherry and Jane Ann Gibbs, so I want to go ahead and read those. Cherry says, I listen to the podcast every week without fail and heard my name today. What fun. I live in Franklin and would drive twice as far to Bates if necessary. Ryan helped me buy my first cherry tree for my 3 acres. Lots of room for more Bates plants. 10 trees and shrubs arrive next week. Thank you for your great products, great service, and most importantly, friendly, knowledgeable staff. Congrats on Best of Nashville. Of course you are.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
That is a sweet comment.
That is. I love talking with Cherry when she comes into the houseplant area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a great one.
Very
As are
sweet.
all of you guys. Yeah, very sweet. And then Jane Ann Gibbs says, good morning, fellow Bates Nursery and Garden fans. Check out that Bates Trifecta H sale. Hellebores Euchra hosta. Picked up a hellebore Friday to add to my hellebore patch in my front yard. I need to get on that. I need more hellebore in my life.
Do you?
Yes.
Yes.
They're awesome.
Yes, I
Real.
do.
I have to do road repair on the highway to Hellbore. I really do. I lost one.
Are they going crazy? Oh.
No, I lost one.
How did you lose one? Too much sun?
No, I don't think so. I just August.
Just August.
Because the other 3 are fine. And 4.
We just went super dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long have you had those in the ground?
This will be this will be 3rd season in the spring.
Have they spread much? They go so slow. I want a whole grove of them. That's why I need to plant more because
You should
they're
see my
going too
daughter's
slow for
yard.
me.
Yep, and that bed of hellebores is probably 12 feet in diameter, and it's just amazing when it's full going.
Happy hellebore.
Yep.
Hey, It's great.
It
You know
is.
what, though? The Heuchera, what a great deal right now for fall mixed containers, y'all. Popping Heuchera. I know, Caroline, you're a huge fan of this. Using Heuchera in your mixed containers as like your filler material to have some color through pretty much the whole winter, especially if they're covered, like on your front porch or something. They'll stay up all winter.
That's what I have in my mixed containers, and they do. They stay up all winter long, and they look amazing.
Yeah, and mixed containers can get expensive. They really can. So having a deal on Heuchera is great
buddy.
for the mixed container.
So you know what I did? I popped one huge. We had 1 gallon Heuchera, and this one was like overflowing in the pot. So I got one, and it pretty much filled out the pot. And then I pulled Creeping Jenny up from one of my beds, and that's the trailer.
Is that the plural of Heuchera?
What
Or
did I
is
say?
it, Heuchera? Is it
Heuchera.
Heuchera?
Yes.
Heuchera?
Heuchera.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plural right there. But it is, I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's the best. I use it in the fall for mixed containers and then plant it in the spring. So I have a whole colorful Heuchera bed. And you can get it in almost every color.
Yeah, it's such an easy plant to grow.
Yeah, come see Celeste and get you some. All right, we got another crepe myrtle question. Tips on making a black diamond crepe myrtle successful in mostly clay soil.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of
You
clay
said,
soil around here.
well,
I mean, amend your soil. I mean, that's always super. We have plenty of products for that. We're about to get to that in just a minute.
Yes.
But I mean, if you have heavy clay, what you do is you pull out your heavy clay. You dig your hole, get your heavy clay out, try to chop it up. Try to get it into small bits. And then you use our products that we have to loosen that up and incorporate it into your clay soil and mix that up into a really nice mixture, Get you a tarp laid out and put it out there and work with it, It all starts down below. So if you don't have that right, you're not going to get the top part right. So let's take some time and work on that soil that you've got that's going to be down in that hole with that crepe myrtle. Crepe myrtle can totally live in a scenario like that. But doing your prep work on getting that soil how you want it is really beneficial for that plant down the road.
And they are so pretty. Those black diamonds are gorgeous.
Really nice.
yeah, I love them. Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix Garden Products, creating regionally sourced high-quality soil blends and amendments for the sustainable-minded gardener. Fall and winter are great times to plant in the Southeast, and Earth Mix can help you with Landscape Soil Conditioner. Mix Landscape with your native soil to feed all winter long. Added mycorrhizal fungi help your plants get established faster and increase hardiness through the year ahead. Visit earthmix.net for more information and retailers near you. Remember, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden Products. Well,
All right.
Well,
There's other stuff beyond fall color. I had fall color on my brain, but there's still things going on.
yep.
there's some weird stuff going on.
What's in bloom? With Austin.
Hey, y'all. What's in bloom?
Hey.
Okay, it's something weird is happening. We're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to tell you what should be blooming right now. Okay, look, I've got plates. These are my leftover plates from my daughter's breakfast yesterday morning. Okay, we had to eat in
You're
the
so
truck. We were running a
green.
little late. All right, so I wrote this down as I was driving down the road. Whew, it was wild. Anyway, so the things that should... Tyler... that picture. It's okay. There was a picture that popped up that was... It's okay. You know what?
What?
The things that should be blooming.
The things
Yes,
that
they should be
What
blooming.
The mums.
should be blooming?
The mums. Your Sheffield pink is absolutely gorgeous.
It's
it is
peaking right now.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The mums are great. The asters, they're still in bloom. They're native, still going on all over the place. Your pansies are great. Everybody loves pansies. Bush Lespedeza, shout out. And in the office, that plant is beautiful. Y'all really need to think about it. I know I've talked about it before, but nothing else blooms like that. Bush Lespedeza, think about it. Hyacinth bean is that vine that is still going up in purple, looking great. Anemone, what a great little
I
plant.
love that one.
Shade-loving,
Anemone.
beautiful plant. Hard to say, but easy to grow. All right, goldenrod, our keystone, still blooming yellow and doing things for our environment that we need it to do. Hey, cleome, that wild little weed that nobody can get rid of once you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going. I saw
I
it.
got rid of mine. It took years.
No,
but I
you got
did
lucky.
Get rid of it.
Okay, you're one of the lucky ones. That's great. Whew, that's a wild one. Anyway, shout out, Bridge. Your grasses are still going. We all love the grasses. Okay, you know what? That's out with the old.
Wow.
Okay.
In with the weird, man. What? It's weird. You know what we're doing right now? It's a phenomenon that's happening. This fall, we are kind of mimicking spring. Okay, with these warm daytime temps, these cooler nighttime temps, and we are straight up tricking all these plants out there, okay?
Blast blooms.
It blast blooms. Here we go. Blast off. The Chinese snowball in my yard is blooming. That's a viburnum. It's a beautiful plant. It is literally the showiest blooming viburnum you can buy. If you don't have one, you need one. It's great. Love my Chinese snowball. Why is it blooming now? Who knows? It does that sometimes. Hey, quince on the lot. Flowering quince.
Stop.
I'm not stopping.
Really?
Okay.
No. I'm not stopping. It's blooming right now, and I've seen it. And I'm like,
Okay.
what? That's weird. Hey, forsythia, yesterday I saw fall color, like purplish, reddish forsythia with yellow blooms atop of it. And I'm like, forsythia.
Yeah, you're crazy.
What you doing, man? Don't know
Crazy.
why. Rhododendron. Shout out Sherry. Yeah, she's had one for 2 weeks now in bloom. And I saw
bloom.
some yesterday blooming again. Like a lot of blooms, too.
Yeah,
Not
hers
just
is
like
in
a few.
Even more bloom, like
That's
fully
what I'm
in
saying.
bloom now.
That's what I'm saying. I saw one yesterday, so I know she ain't lying to us. Sherry, you would never.
She would
And
never.
Miriam,
Shout out Sherry Gant.
Miriam submitted an evidence
No.
of Bradford pear.
What?
Dear Vanderbilt.
Wow.
She
Wait
does
a
not
minute.
have that in her yard.
No, that I think
Vanderbilt.
that
No,
Near
it's not in her
Vanderbilt.
yard.
No.
Wait a minute, though. Bradford, but why does that Bradford pear?
And this Eastern
Tyler.
redbud.
Oh, wow.
Where,
Tyler,
the
go
Bradford. Why does the Bradford pear not have leaves? Every Bradford pear around town is still green leaf. That has no leaves, but it's blooming.
It's got a few, but
Got a
not many.
few leaves in there, but oh my
Cut it
goodness. Miriam, I didn't even have this on my list. You just blew my mind.
Wow.
Bradford pear is showing blooms. Why is it doing
Blech.
that?
Huh?
That's probably going to like bloom this fall and then just like die next year. Like, why does it look like that? I don't know.
Can only hope.
Yeah, there you go, Josh.
There you
Uh-huh.
go.
That's cool. Thanks, Miriam. Hey, hello, Miriam.
Yeah, shout out
Good to hear
Miriam.
you.
Good morning.
We love
Yep.
you. Okay, azaleas. And deciduous azaleas. Y'all, we got deciduous azalea in the Batrium right now, blooming right now. It's tricked, and it's blooming. Looks great. Super cool. Hey, lilac. You have one.
My lilac is blooming. And it looks,
Why?
it smells amazing. Last night when I got home, I walked by and was like,
Yeah, because that's what lilac does. It's fantastic. It blooms and it smells great.
I'm
But
not
it's
mad
blooming
at
in the
it.
fall.
Yeah.
Super weird. Who knows why? Deciduous magnolias. I saw those blooming the other day. They're leafless. Like a lot of them lost all their leaves, just like that Bradford pear, but they're throwing new blooms. Like, once again, odd. Tyler, throw up the picture of that redbud again. Why in the world would a redbud be blooming right now? That's our quintessential spring blooming tree.
Yes.
Native. But it's blooming right now.
I
There,
got
look at
one.
those. Look at those buds.
I
See down
love
there on the
that.
trunk.
I love to.
Oh, yeah,
It's
right. David,
at
down on the trunk. Oh,
Those are the
that-
prettiest ones when they do like
When
that.
they do
A
that.
little
Yeah.
cluster bloom of pink and purple. That is fantastic.
And they're so good to eat.
Oh, yeah.
to eat.
They're
Have
tasty.
you not eaten
They
them?
are. They're delicious.
I've
They're
never
like,
had a red bud
They
bloom.
kind of have like a jelly.
Put it on your
taste.
eggs and more.
jelly and eggs. Y'all, you just blew my mind. I didn't even know I could do this. You know what?
All right, so in the spring, or Miriam, if you want to pull some of those off and bring them to us, we'll have Austin do a live taste test.
Yes.
I'll do it.
And we're not tricking you. I promise.
No. Miriam, harvest those things. Bring them to me. We will live
Yeah.
taste test.
Do
eat
not
red
eat
bud
them
blooms.
until you're on camera, though.
Oh,
You're not
fine.
allowed to taste it before.
Fine, Tyler. Rig up the camera, man. It's going to be great.
It's already
One word
rigged.
of caution for
already
people
rigged.
thinking about that is that if you treat your yard with insecticides or some other kind of chemical,
Systemics in particular.
Mm-hmm.
but if you're not treated with anything, it really is a delicious kind of gives me of the thought of a peanuts.
Yeah, nutty.
somewhat.
I get that
They're,
too.
Wow.
they're really quite tasty though.
Okay.
Tyler, have you not tried one either?
No.
Oh, wow.
I've
What?
got to try this. Okay.
Okay.
Miriam, we'll see you today with some fruits.
I'll bring
But
you a
don't eat
bushel
all
basket.
your
and
don't
it-
eat all your flowers because
Yeah.
you want to leave a lot for the bees.
I got one, Austin.
What?
Rosemary.
Rosemary in bloom. Didn't have that on the list, but hey, that's a great one, Josh.
Yep.
Well, and Joyce
There's
has
some out in the lot blooming it. Mine at home are. Yep.
turtle
Nice.
head.
Turtle head.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then Wendy wrote in, which you did mention, but her black tulip magnolia has about 25 leaves left on it and 15 buds. 3
See?
are open.
Wow.
See? It's blooming at a weird time. It's weird. Blast off, people. It's a blast off time. My clematis, your clematis is
Oh,
reblooming.
yeah. My clematis did not die, and now I love it, and it is blooming. Yep.
You're back loving it. In the summer, you hated it, and now you're in love again.
Well, because I planted it, and then I was like, well, then it died.
No, it didn't. It doesn't.
It didn't die.
It comes back. You love clematis, just admit it. Anyway, and
I
then
do.
also,
I do.
if you cut back your Annabelles or your Incredible hydrangeas after they were done blooming, they are re-blooming. Ryan in our
Ryan.
bait trim. Shout out, Ryan. You're great. We all love you. He showed me a picture yesterday family of somebody, I'm not sure, someone in his family, he cut back their Annabelles for him. They are reblooming. They're not as big as you would want. They're a little bit smaller, but they are in bloom, which is great. And then Tyler shared with me this morning some of our cherry trees. Blast off blooms, okay?
Everything. My limelights are shooting off some blooms. I didn't prune it or anything. It's just decided to bloom a little bit more.
There you go. So, you know what?
What?
Weird blooms, but blooms nonetheless. There you go.
You did it.
ya.
Send it. Wow.
Weird in bloom.
Weird in bloom. There you go.
Weird and bloom. Well, that was great. That was
thanks.
entertaining. Love that you wrote it on plates and
Yeah.
then tossed them at the camera.
That's all I had.
Very You don't have paper at your house.
No.
You have
Leftover
certainly
plates.
struck a nerve with your blast blooms, Austin.
Oh, gosh.
Emily says Irish are blooming in Clarksville.
Really?
Emily.
Joyce is saying her Hanabi hydrangea is still blooming.
Oh, yeah, Joyce, you talk about that weird hydrangea you got. Send
Black
us a picture
tulip
of that.
magnolias. I'm from Wendy. Wow.
See?
And then Gina says her Bates Vitex is blooming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Another
Vitex
one.
has bloomed like 3 times now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Mine's not
Little-
in bloom right
little bitty
now, but
blooms.
it did keep shooting up some blooms.
Uh-huh.
All right, speaking of blooms, let's talk about one that smells really, really wonderful. Gardenia.
Oh.
So we have a couple gardenia questions that were basically all the same. So we're going to roll it all into one. Will a large gardenia planted in a container survive winter outdoors?
No. I mean,
It
I hate
might,
to be
but I
negative.
wouldn't do it.
I don't ever want to be negative. I always want to be optimistic about plants, okay? That's the first thing. You got to go in optimistic. You can't be pessimistic. Be like, I'm going to buy this. I'm probably going to kill it. Like, no, don't say that. Like, it's going to be great. But gardenia is right on the line of hardiness here. And David talks about it all the time, and that's a plant in the ground versus a plant in the pot. Nowhere near as hardy. And gardenia, quit. And gardenia is one of those plants. Like, it's not great in a pot here. In the ground, it's even risky.
Right. We did have someone ask about in the ground. So you're hitting on that now.
Yeah, plus, they're the most temperamental. I mean, if you can get it in a happy spot in the ground where it's got a little bit of protection, they can do quite well, but they are not an easy plant to grow. Even if you have it in a container that you have in the house that you move out, they don't like that. They don't like changes in conditions. They like to be happy in a place and don't change the conditions. And every time you do, it doesn't mean they're going to die, but they will react. They'll drop a lot of foliage. They'll drop bloom buds. They're just persnickety.
They are.
That's
What
they
a
are.
diva.
Yeah, they are divas.
Divas of plants. Yeah, they're almost harder to grow inside. Like, you almost would rather just put it in the ground outside and let it,
See what happens.
defoliate, like David said. Like,
Right.
typically here, it's not going to keep its evergreen leaves all the way to the top. Like, that it just does not happen here. Now, does that mean that it's dead? No, not necessarily. You can see regrowth in the spring, but you got to deal with some issues with gardenia over the wintertime. But, as a houseplant, like, it's so picky inside.
gosh.
You talk about diva. Bring it in the house, and that diva level goes to 12.
Okay.
Just like you.
No.
Well, I will say another shout out to Sherry Gant. She had 2 gardenias forever that she would overwinter inside. And then I believe one winter she accidentally left them out. Now, it was under a tree, so it was pretty protected, and I'm pretty sure they survived. She's
Cher, let us
on the
know.
south side of Nashville. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're watching, let us know.
She's watching.
She's always watching. Mm-hmm. All right. We've got some more live questions in on Facebook. Kim asked, can I cut back my peonies even though we have not had a frost?
We talked about this a little
Yeah.
bit last week. Yes, you certainly can. It's getting to the point where it's going to be, we always recommend to leave the foliage up as long as you can until they turn to mush and lay on the ground, and then you can cut them back. But if you're just absolutely over them, so tired of those hideous leaves, then certainly you can cut them back. A peony is such a long-lived, easy perennial. So, like I said, if you're over it, cut it.
It's your yard.
It's
Yeah.
your yard.
It's your
That's
yard.
right,
Do what you
Josh.
want.
It's your
We need to
yard.
say that all the time. Like, should I do this or not? It's like, it's your yard. Do you want to look at that or not?
You can. I don't think it's going to do damage to
It
it, if you
won't
cut
at
it
all.
now. I
It
think
won't.
you can definitely do it. And then we got another one from Jacqueline, or I guess it's the first one of the morning. I bought a Froberg spruce.
Froberg, yeah. That's a
Froberg spruce?
weeping style spruce, yeah.
Oh, at Bates last week. What tips do you have to make sure it thrives?
Well, spruce does not care about cold. Okay? Let's be honest. our heat is more like if you were going to plant this in the early summer or something, then they would be a lot harder on you. But since we're going into winter, spruce is totally fine with that. They embrace that cold. They're like, sure, bring it on.
Comes from Canada and Russia.
Yes, exactly. I mean, all the way up. Yeah. So planting that plant, just getting it in the ground, water it in sufficiently. Don't keep it just soaked over the wintertime. Typically, our winters are pretty wet. So make sure you keep it evenly moist, but not necessarily soaked. Don't keep it on the dry side. Keep it how it, just normally moist through the winter. And then as winter draws on and we start getting wet and cold, like just don't do anything. Let it just latch in. With that plant, it does have lower limbs that can touch the ground. So be mindful of that. Like over the winter, if we do stay super wet, like in periods of time, if those limbs are touching the ground, you could see some like issues with like just literally physically just like mud and muck or whatever that's like on the foliage. So you might want to try to avoid that. But other than that, good job for buying that plant because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I know I've seen them out on the lot. They kind of look like my
Cobra. Yeah. Very similar to that.
My Cobra, planted in the fall, full sun, latched in, looks great in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
The 2022 Big Freeze, no damage on that.
No, yeah, they don't care about
it.
It
was its time to shine. It was like, give me more cold temps, give me more ice. Yeah. I love it.
I mean, we don't have any native spruce here, but we have spruce that's naturalized here just fine. Mm-hmm. Typically Norway spruce. If you're going to, plant a spruce, like Norway spruce has naturalized great here. I mean, I pass like a 50-footer every day going home. Like if you're going to stick to a spruce, Norway's the most tried and true, if you ask me. Picea
and they can become monsters.
Yes.
Yeah, mine's going to eat my yard. All right, Sherry got back to us, said just one gardenia survived, and it's huge. Can I prune it before I bring it in for the winter? And then she says, love y'all in the show.
Oh,
love you, Cher.
Tell your mama what's up. Can she prune it?
What would you say? I wouldn't.
I mean, unless you have to.
Yeah, because
she says it's huge. Yeah, I mean, she says it's huge. So, I mean, if you have to.
How big is it? Send us a photo.
Ah, sure.
The other side of that is because
I'll go see it in
it's a
person.
gardenia. Because it's a gardenia, we know it's almost certainly going to defoliate when you bring it inside. I mean, it just does. So I don't know that you really lose anything by going ahead. Matter of fact, it may be saving yourself a lot of mess just to go ahead and cut it in advance and then bring it in. Then it's going to push out all new growth and readjust. So that's my take. And the point to this is that there's not necessarily with many gardening questions one singular correct answer. A lot of it is perspective and situation. So,
exactly.
Mine might be different than Caroline's or Austin's, and we can all be correct within our perspective. So if it seems like we don't always agree, it's because we don't.
Exactly.
That's how it should be. And one nice thing about the show and gardening and all of the gardeners I know is we talk from experience. So, something might be different for me than it is for Austin, but it's what we know and how we learned instead of, I also read a lot of plant books, but I grow a lot of plants outside and inside.
Yeah, and it's like some of the practices you decide to do, like you just said, Josh, like it's your house. Like some of the practices you have to do out of necessity, not if it's the right time or scenario. Like I've got like I said, that Chinese viburnum that's blooming right now. I really want to make that a small tree form viburnum, okay? And I've let it grow. It started as a little 3-gallon. It's like 7 almost 8 foot tall right now, but super stemmy and sticky and all that. So over the wintertime, I really plan on opening that up, getting it to a, multi-stemmed plant to a foliage atop of that. Now, to achieve this, I'm going to have to ruin my bloom set for the spring. And I know that, but that's okay. I'm still got to do it out of necessity because I don't like the way the form is right now. It's too shrubby, too many stems. So I want to make it a small looking tree. So
I think you should.
I do, but then I got to top it a little bit. So goodbye blooms in the spring.
Oh no.
It's okay though. I'm okay with it.
Okay. As long as you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it.
Additional support for Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center, a third-generation nursery located in Nashville, Tennessee, and 20-time recipient for Nashville's Best Garden Center, offering the widest selection of new arrivals for fall, like specimen conifers, Japanese maples, and pansies in nearly every color. Open year-round, minutes from the heart of Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. Browse their selection online anytime at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. minutes out
All
of them.
right, question
definitely.
time.
They
'cause
make
we
an
are
incredible
running
read.
out of time.
Questions.
What kind of growing conditions does a new common elderberry need? Not sure where to plant.
Pretty much pick anywhere in the yard and it'll grow. Y'all, I weed eat elderberry that just grows everywhere in
You
my yard.
whack it on down.
I mean, it prefers a good amount of sun. Can it handle shade? Certainly. Like, it's a large growing shrub that can live anywhere. Pick a spot you like and plant it
and put it on there. How about when do I transplant a hydrangea?
in the winter during dormancy. Well,
Beautiful.
We talk about this all the time. Yep.
I've done that a lot. When can I trim ornamental grasses?
That depends on your taste.
I leave mine up over winter and prune them when I see new growth. Learn that
too.
from you.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I
I've
leave mine up
already-
through the winter too.
I've already seen some trimmed.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Some people hate to see the leftover grass. Hey, it looks like old corn or something, you know?
Well, you
But
love corn.
That's why I leave mine up.
Corn's
Okay.
grass, though. I learned that.
Exactly.
On the
It turns them into buttons, though.
Yeah.
You know,
It's great.
little grass rocks.
Some people hate to see that leftover foliage that's just like tannish brownish. If you hate it, cut it. It's not going to hurt anything. Cut it close to the dirt. Leave a little bit up, you know, like maybe, I don't know. I usually say like shin height.
Yeah,
I know
that's-
you've.
yeah,
It's like a
Height,
German
Josh.
word.
That's a combination between Japanese and German.
Josh.
Shin height.
Tyler, did you say cutting them back turns them into little buttons?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
I don't know. Floor cushions, stools. You know, use your
yeah.
imagination.
That's a good point. My
Grass
kids
rocks.
could like sit on them.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I can
hey,
see that.
Our next question, I think it's a great question. What do you wish more people knew about gardening in Tennessee this time of year?
What do I wish more people knew?
Yeah, about gardening in Tennessee.
I
this
think
time of year.
one big thing is, if y'all don't know, y'all, I look at emails constantly with Paula and Rachel in the office and the great folks that work here, and there's people that have issues all the time with stuff. And the biggest thing I think is that we don't respect the processes of nature, and that leaves can look bad this time of year, and there's spots, and spots don't always mean pathogens. Okay, I mean, it means something. There's fungal issues that happen, but we live.
Winter's coming.
Yeah, I mean, and we've lived through the season with all of the rainfall, the fungal spores, the bacterial things. Doesn't necessarily mean your plant's dying. Okay, if you've got 90% good-looking leaves and you've got 10% bad ones, you're killing it.
Yep.
Like, you're doing great. It's a part of, that's something I wish people would just let happen more with nature. If you see insect damage on plants, holes in leaves, that little insect got some food, so it can turn into a beautiful butterfly.
That's right.
Like, those little things are part of what the whole ecosystem. We're not keeping things perfectly clean all the time because that just doesn't benefit our ecosystem.
Right.
And one
Everything is
thing
not
I might
perfect.
add to that is that just for folks to be mindful of that for almost anything, now it's not 100%, but almost anything, fall is the best time of year to plant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Almost without regard to what it is. The weather is working with us rather than against us. The nights are getting cooler. We are eventually going to get more rain. And what all that means is, particularly from a maintenance standpoint, your ease of transition into the ground and establishment in the landscape is far superior to things that you plant in the spring. People are more into it in the spring because they're tired of sitting in the house all winter. But if you can get it done right now, you'll be almost a complete year ahead of anything you plant in the springtime. And of course, there are things you can't plant now for spring, but for the things you can, and that's most woody ornamentals and perennials, and the vast majority, now is the time to do it.
That's such a great point. Like, buy your spring blooming plants now so you can enjoy them
Yes.
at your house in
Get
the
them
spring.
established.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can buy them blooming here, but why? But put them in the ground and enjoy them at your house, when it's supposed to bloom. It's a great point.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of year to plant. We got some great live Facebook comments in from Joyce. Hooks says Austin is always extra.
Joyce, don't call me
Yeah.
out like that.
Yeah,
I
we
help you
all
all
know
the time.
Austin.
Do it.
He's
Joyce.
always passionate. He's always extra, and I think the fall leaves on the trees right now are really,
They've got me. They
really
got me amped.
pushing you.
I'm up.
And I love
Joyce,
it.
I'm gonna throw those bags of earth mix in your car today.
Joyce, look out when you,
You look
come
out.
here.
Do you see Risha asking for marital advice?
Reish,
I did not see that.
what you need, Reish?
She wants to know, could you please let my husband know that mums with wet feet all the time equals bad?
Oh,
There's a ton of things with wet feet.
Edward.
Almost
That's
always
bad.
Some
equal
pretty
bad.
sound math.
yeah.
Yeah.
Edward. Come on now.
Yeah. No wet feet with
No wet
most
feet on
things.
mums.
Okay.
They do get really droopy when they get really
Yes.
dry, but they perk right back up if you hit them once you see them dry. So
You deadhead them.
I deadhead mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're
I mean,
fun to deadhead. You can get a whole handful and then throw them at your friend.
Yep.
You can do it. And then Alita says, I leave my grasses up all winter.
good for you,
for her.
Alita.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I
I'm
love
with you
the
on
look
that.
of them staying up.
Hey,
all
use
winter.
them for floral arrangements, y'all. It's
Fall
good for
floral
that.
arrangements, yeah.
Fall florals.
Fall
Yes.
florals. Get you some of your hydrangeas that you leave those blooms up
Absolutely.
year round for little squirrel beds. Get you some of that.
Oh, the squirrel beds.
Some of that dry grass. Yeah, I brought it back around the squirrel
Yeah,
beds.
you did.
Yeah.
Squirrel beds.
Squirrel beds.
I saw one of the short-tailed Smyrna squirrels yesterday, David. You remember the
Oh,
legendary?
did you? now?
Legendary
yeah.
short-tailed Smyrna squirrel.
The short-tail. We'll tell that story another time.
We're gonna have to. I guess we're out of time.
Because we're out of time for this edition. But
That's sad. I want to keep going.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could.
this was a fun one.
David says time to go.
Yeah.
All right. But next Saturday, we'll come back to the Green Room Studios and we'll
Absolutely.
present to you another hour of this Gardening Inside Out program. Hey, but during the week, you can listen to the podcast. You can view anything anytime you want to over on YouTube and on Facebook. They're all archived there. And hey, don't forget to come out here to Bates and take advantage of the sale. And if you got to do some highway repairs on the highway to Hellebore, 30% off. And
Yeah.
Spukeras and hostas. And so,
All you shade lovers.
hey, folks, we appreciate you. We'll see you right here next Saturday morning at 0800.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.